I'm Neil.
I'm Olivia. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. All right, Olivia, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I just graduated from Western Washington University in March with a degree in kinesiology pre-healthcare. And then I studied and became certified as an exercise physiologist shortly after graduation. And I, over the past couple years, have specialized in respiratory therapy as well as cardiac therapy. I'm still getting adjusted to cardiac therapy, so I'm really looking forward to learning that here at Oregon Health and Sciences University. Let's see. I'm a very creative person, so I really like to bring that to the workplace, as well as problem solving. I love to solve problems very quickly and on the spot.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So, what are a few of your greatest strengths?
So a few of my greatest strengths are that I'm a very driven person, and that I always have a great attention to detail. So in this line of work, I know that it's very important for all the records to be accurate and for all of my communication to patients to be seamless. So I make sure that I'm paying attention to all those details and really taking in a lot when I'm observing. And by doing that, it really drives forward my work, so I'm able to be successful in specific positions.
Okay. On the flip side, what are a few of your weaknesses?
So a few of my weaknesses are I've always struggled with time management. It's still something that I struggle with now. I'm still working through it, so I've decided to start this regime of scheduling. So on Sunday nights, I'll write down my plan for the whole week, any big goals that I want to be done by the end of the week, and then each day before work, I plan out all the workout or exercise prescriptions for the day ahead of time, so that when my patients come in, I know what to deliver to them or what questions to ask based off of their last visit, or if they're an initial patient, I would just go over my list of initial patient questions first before developing their exercise program.
Right on. And why do you want to work here?
I want to work here because I studied a lot about your company, and I realized that you're very open-minded and you have a lot of focus on research because you are at a university and you have access to students. So I think I would really like to tap into that research aspect of this community, and I just really appreciate that there is that open-minded value, because a lot of healthcare organizations are closed-minded, and they don't look at it from a holistic perspective.
Mm-hmm. All right, describe a difficult problem you're faced with in your past career, and how did you overcome that?
So in my past job at North Star Medical Specialists, I actually had a patient that we told, please don't come in today, just due to other health problems going on with her, and it wasn't safe for her to exercise on that day, but due to her dementia, she showed up anyway. And so we again had to tell her, I'm sorry, but you shouldn't be here today. Is there any way that we can get you home? And she got very confused and panicky because she didn't quite remember that she wasn't supposed to come in. And so she almost started to begin to have a panic attack, and her blood pressure went up extremely high to almost dangerous levels. So because she was in a clinic, we sat her down, and I attached a vitals machine to her to get her blood pressure, and I monitored it for about a half an hour until it was down to safe levels, and then she was finally able to leave.
Mm-hmm. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
So in 5 years, I see myself wherever the Coast Guard sends my fiance and I, because we can only be in places for 2 years at a time. But I hope to be in a more permanent position. I read on your website that this position is temporary, but I would also, if the opportunity arises, would love to have a permanent position here at the university, as well as I would like to go back to school and get my master's degree and maybe find some other specializations that I'm interested in.
All right. And what is your ideal company that you would love to work at?
I'd say the ideal company I'd like to work at is probably Swedish Medical. They just have a very high standard of healthcare, and I would like to try my best to reach that point in my life where I can work in that high standard of healthcare and work in more serious emergency type of situations.
Mm-hmm. And are you really willing to relocate for this job?
Yes, if there are other locations, I am willing to relocate for this job. I am moved every 2 years, like I mentioned, so I'm definitely willing to relocate if possible.
Mm-hmm. And before we conclude, do you have any questions for us?
So my first question is, how do you see, or what does success mean in this position as an exercise physiologist at Oregon Health and Sciences?
Basically, success means taking care of patients, like going through the steps with them, treating them properly, helping them become their best selves. That's what success means here.
Awesome.
Any other questions?
And then another question I had was, so what is your favorite, oh God, I literally forgot. It's fine, okay. What did I tell you earlier?
What the nugget was.
Yeah. Well, okay, I'll just actually edit this.
Edit that out.
Yeah, it's fine. So my other question was, how many new patients do you guys get every week?
Well, I'd say about 90 to 100.
All right, awesome.
All right. Well, thank you for the interview.
Yeah, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
God, I can't believe I forgot the last question.
It's
So
cool. It's
annoying.
cool.